Mom reunites with lost daughter after decades apart, then they learn the ugly truth. Nancy Womac had to wait 42 agonizing years for her tale to be told. You see, she had welcomed a little girl into the world back in 1979, but didn't even get the chance to meet her. From there, Nancy spent the next 4+ decades thinking about her lost daughter, ahead of a highly emotional family reunion. This dramatic story began in Dalton, Georgia, while Nancy was spending her formative years at a children's shelter. Everything changed for her soon after she turned 16. At that stage in her life, the teenager developed feelings for a boy who was also staying there. After getting together, Nancy eventually discovered that she was carrying a baby. No one could have predicted what happened next, though. The news soon reached the guy who was running the shelter, and he had some tough words for the pregnant teen. Looking back on that moment, the estranged mom spoke to NBC News in November 2021. Nancy recalled, the man said, "This is what's going to happen. You're not shaming the children's home, and we're going to take care of this." Following that meeting, she was taken to a different facility in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, known as the Bethesda Home for Girls. The teenager had been 3 months into her pregnancy at the time. It was a long dirt road from the main road down to Bethesda, Nancy continued. At the time, I thought it was the longest dirt road in the world. And then it opens up to this long, white building. It was like a nightmare. And unfortunately for her, that initial impression proved to be horribly accurate. Yes, Nancy went on to endure very hard times at Bethesda. Like a lot of the other young girls there, she reportedly wasn't treated the way she deserved to be. Then, following a half-year stay, the expectant mom was moved again. She was put on a plane to East Ridge, Tennessee, where she'd give birth. But there was a heartbreaking twist in store for Nancy when the big moment arrived. As she told NBC News, "The medics just gave me a shot and put me out. I don't remember having my daughter. I don't remember them wheeling me into the delivery room. I don't remember nothing." And once she opened her eyes, the baby had already been sent away. So, that brings us on to Melanie Spencer, Nancy's daughter. What happened after she was sent away from her birth mother? Well, as a baby, Melanie was taken in by a loving couple. Her adoptive father worked as a missionary, so she spent much of her childhood living in South Africa. Now, Melanie was made aware from a pretty early age that she wasn't biologically tied to her adoptive folks. As a result of that, she harbored a burning curiosity about her blood relatives for years. And it only got stronger after Nancy's daughter packed her bags for America some time later. You see, Melanie was headed back to the United States to go to university. She got a master's diploma in the end, before moving into the counseling sector. Anyway, once she had given birth to 2 children of her own, the graduate's desire to find Nancy reached fever pitch. How could she go about it, though? Speaking to NBC News, Melanie said, "I really started thinking, what will I tell my kids about where they're from when they're older?" So the mom turned to genealogy website Ancestry. She went on, "The most interesting part was that it came up with a DNA match. I was like, whoa. What do I do with this? I just decided to go for it." Yep, Melanie sent an online note to one Cheryl Blackwell after the match popped up. She's a sibling of Nancy's. But it remained unread for roughly 12 months because Cheryl simply hadn't visited the website during that time. When she did finally spot it, though, that opened the door to the most emotional of reunions. Melanie and Nancy went on to link up via social media before exchanging some poignant texts. "I've wondered about you for a long time," the former wrote. "It's a little overwhelming." Then, her mom responded, "There's not a day goes by that I haven't thought of you. I want you to know that you're loved so much." Nancy hadn't been exaggerating, for instance, she'd even made sure to cook a birthday cake for Melanie each year, despite their separation. Yet in August 2021 that emotional pain finally started to subside. A face-to-face meeting had been arranged at the mom's Georgia house. Ahead of the reunion, Nancy told NBC News, "Sometimes I wake up and think, oh God, I'm just dreaming. Because I used to dream about meeting Melanie. So yes, this is like a dream to me. There was no need to worry, though this was as real as it gets." And that dawned on her when Melanie's car pulled up to the house. From there, the long-separated duo shared the most tender of hugs on Nancy's porch. Just like that, 42 years of anguish for the mom gave way to feelings of relief and happiness she'd found her daughter. As for Melanie, she offered her thoughts off the back of this monumental moment to NBC News. Melanie said, "On the drive down from Maryland, I was kind of anxious. Then I got out of the car, and there she was. 42 years of questions. It almost feels like there wasn't any missing time. It feels like coming home." Nancy beamed. Melanie wanted to know about her siblings, she'd always wanted brothers and sisters. "She has a house full now. She's just what I thought she would be. She's beautiful and smart." The pair were practically attached at the hip for the next few days, with Melanie staying in Georgia. During that time, Melanie got to know her biological family better while also sharing photos from her childhood. She posed for a few snaps along the way too, creating new memories for the years ahead. Going back to Nancy, though, the reunion did open up some old wounds that were hard to heal. These girls on Bethesda support groups, they talk about forgiveness and healing, Nancy told NBC News. And they say, let it go. I can't let it go. Yes, Melanie is in my life, but there are so many things I've missed. But maybe after this, it won't be so bad. We certainly hope that's the case.